Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Friday, the 20th of May, 2022. This show's about monkeypox. First thing we're going to cover is, what is monkeypox? Second thing we're going to cover is, we're going to talk about biological weapons. Then we're going to talk about bio-level safety in laboratories and the different types of laboratories that they have around the world. Then we're going to talk about gain-of-function research. And then we're going to take a look at the news articles about what's happening with the monkeypox right now. So it should be a very interesting show, and let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look. What is monkeypox? Monkeypox is an infectious disease caused by the monkeypox virus that can occur in certain animals, including humans. Symptoms begin with fever, headache, muscle pain, swollen lymph nodes, and feeling tired. This is followed by a rash that forms in blisters that crust over. The time from exposure to onset of symptoms is around 10 days. The duration of symptoms is typically 2 to 4 weeks. Monkeypox may be spread from handling bushmeat, animal bite or scratch, bodily fluids, contaminated objects, or close contact with an infected person. Now, anyway, that's monkeypox. And evidently, smallpox vaccines can prevent the infection with 85% effectiveness. Smallpox vaccine. In 2019, a monkeypox vaccine was approved for adults in the United States. The current standard for treatment is, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, TECOVIRIMAT, an antiviral that is specifically intended to treat infections with orthopox viruses, such as smallpox and monkeypox. It is approved for the treatment of monkeypox in the European Union and the United States. Another drug, CIDOFOFIR, or BRINCIDOFOVIR, may be useful as well. Some of these drugs are almost impossible to pronounce them. But in Africa, reports of the risk of death, if untreated, are as high as 10%. And typically, from what I've been reading, the death rate on this can vary. It's generally, they say, 3 to 6% on monkeypox. So, out of 100 people, roughly, probably on average, you're going to see 2 or 3 deaths. Unless you're in some sort of an environment, it could be actually as low as 1%. If you've got adequate medical facilities to care for the people who have this disease. But if you're in a place where you can't receive adequate medical treatment, then the death rate is higher. It says here it can go up to 10%. So that's monkeypox. That's what it is. It's a disease that typically you catch it, you have to get into pretty close contact or into bodily fluids. Typically, I say typically. This is spreading very quickly, and it's making me suspicious about why it's spreading so fast, if it's so difficult to catch. But on the other hand, we're going to wait and see what happens with this. But we're going to talk about now biological weapons. Now, this is from the World Health Organization's website right here. It says biological and toxic weapons are either microorganisms like viruses, like monkeypox. See, monkeypox is a virus. Bacteria, or a fungus, or toxic substances produced by living organisms that are produced and released deliberately to cause disease and death in humans, animals, and plants. Biological agents like anthrax, plutonium, toxin, plague can pose difficult public health challenges, causing large numbers of deaths in a very short period of time. Biological agents which are capable of secondary transmission can lead to epidemics. An attack involving a biological agent may mimic a natural event. Let's read that again. An attack involving a biological agent may mimic a natural event, which may complicate the public health assessment and response. In case of war and conflict, high-threat pathogen laboratories can be targeted, which might lead to serious public health consequences. Biological weapons form a subset of larger class weapons, sometimes referred to as unconventional weapons or weapons of mass destruction, which also includes chemical, nuclear, and radiological weapons. So that's a statement from the World Health Organization from their website. Now we're going to take a look at biosafety levels and biolaboratories. Biosafety levels. A set of biocontainment precautions required to isolate dangerous biological agents in an enclosed laboratory facility. Now, these facilities have designations. Facilities with these designations are also sometimes given a P1 through P4 for pathogen protection level. Around the world, they have many of these biological facilities that contain bioweapons and also biological threats to public health. There's many of these laboratories, and they're working on something in these laboratories as of lately, and it has to do with things that we would refer to as biological engineering or tampering with nature, basically, and changing what would be a natural virus that's been in the natural community for maybe thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years and didn't represent a threat to humanity, changing it slightly through a process called gain-of-function research. Now, that's where we're at right now. We're going to talk about gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function research is a medical research that genetically alters an organism in a way that may enhance the biological functions or gene products. This may include altering pathogenesis, transmissibility. Now, we're going to focus on that word, transmissibility. What does that mean? It means how easy you can catch something. And see what they said here? They can genetically alter an organism in a way that may enhance its biological functions of transmissibility through what's called gain-of-function research. Now, when you're dealing with a pathogen that has gain-of-function, it might not behave exactly like the original pathogen. It could be more transmissible. In other words, maybe at one time a pathogen was much more harder to catch. You had to come in close contact with bodily fluid for a lengthy period of time. But after it undergoes a process of gain-of-function, perhaps it'll be much, much easier for you to catch that particular virus. And therefore the virus would be able to spread more readily around the world. This is the kind of research that they're doing in these laboratories around the world, here, there, and everywhere. It's a danger to all of mankind has been. And how you would probably identify if these viruses are coming from these bioweapons or not necessarily bioweapons laboratories, but also gain-of-function research laboratories, is the viruses wouldn't behave like the viruses we've been used to for generations. This type of research could actually upset our world as we know it, sadly to say. Now, as I said in the start of the show, we're covering this show in different sections, and where this is the final part, and the final part is about monkeypox and what's happening in the news right now. Monkeypox. The WHO calls an emergency meeting as monkeypox cases cross 100 in Europe. London, the World Health Organization is holding an emergency meeting on Friday to discuss the recent outbreak of monkeypox, a viral infection more common to the West and Central Africa. Over 100 cases were confirmed or suspected in Europe, in what Germany describes as the largest outbreak in Europe ever. cases have been reported in at least 9 countries: Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom, as well as in the United States, Canada, and Australia. Spain reported 24 new cases on Friday, mainly in the Madrid region, where the regional government closed a sauna linked to the majority of infections. Now, they're going on to list how monkeypox is spread here and how does it spread. But this particular strain of monkeypox is a strain that, well, let's just put it this way. I remember back the announcements from the World Health Organization at the very start of the COVID epidemic that turned into a pandemic. And when it first started, when it was in an epidemic phase, they were saying that it does not spread from human to human. They were saying it only spreads from animal to human. And they said there's no reason for concern. I remember them saying that initially, very early on. And I was warning my audience. I was saying, hey, you know what? This is dangerous. Well, I'm warning my audience once again about one thing that's very specific. This particular virus is not, I repeat, not anything related to SARS or anything related to COVID. This is not. This is something entirely different. The way it functions is entirely different. This virus functions in a different way. The transmissibility is completely different. And the illness itself is completely different. That being said, if this were to get out of hand for some reason or another, and I mean we're just talking right now speculatively, the system is in a very vulnerable state right now. We're just getting over a rather large pandemic. We haven't got on our feet yet, so to speak. Our financial markets are tottering on the brink of collapse right now. Right now. There's a food crisis worldwide. Right now. Right now. The last thing we would need is an epidemic or another pandemic. It's the last thing that we would need at this point in time. And if it got out of control, the system could start to actually break apart. So let's just hope that this is brought under control. And we're going to have to wait and see. But what I'm hoping for is that it is less transmissible. And it's only as transmissible as they're saying it is. I'm suspect about it though. Because of the speed that it seems to be moving at through the population and spreading from country to country. I'm very concerned, to say the least, you know. But for those of you out there who might be confused and think that this is COVID or something related to COVID, it's not. It's a totally different animal. It's a totally different virus. It's something completely different. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye.